Hi, I want to share with you a principle of wisdom from the Bible that helps us to have successful and happy relationships, families, particularly families and marriages. And this verse is Genesis 2:24, and the context is it describes in chapter 1 and chapter 2 of Genesis how God created everything, and He created the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, and then He brought them together, He presented them to each other, and the summation of that in verse 24 says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." And this is a principle of prioritizing our relationships that God actually teaches us in the Bible how to prioritize our relationships, and there's a very good reason for doing that, and there's a very specific way to do that, and it brings success. God is always first. That's a foundational principle, that our relationship with God is always, always first. Prayer time or pursuing Him, seeking Him, getting to know Him, trusting in Him, and developing that intimacy with God is just absolutely first priority for any believer. But then the next priority, second priority, is if you are married, is your spouse, your husband or wife, because it says the man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So quite on the sight of God, in God's eyes, when a man and woman are married, they become as one. And so obviously then that person is the next priority in your life. Their needs, their wants, they deserve our attention. They deserve the best of our devotion and our love and our time. Then the third priority is going to be what is the fruit of that relationship is generally children. And so our children will be third priority in our life after God and then after our spouse. The reason that's really, really important to understand is because sometimes it gets messed up. If we have a child first before a spouse, we love the child more than the spouse and give more devotion to the child than the spouse, then it's out of balance, and children will learn how to manipulate a situation. They will learn how to drive a wedge. They will learn how to avoid discipline. They will learn how to control and manipulate and divide parents against each other. And children are very capable of doing that. They're born knowing how to do that. So when husband and wife are first, and we form kind of a united front, in the family, and we agree on discipline, we agree on child raising, we agree on the rules of the home, we agree on our beliefs and our values, and that type of thing. It creates a very, very solid foundation, and it creates an atmosphere where children will receive a lot of security, a lot of love, and healthy discipline. And children grow up successful, they grow up secure, they grow up emotionally strong and healthy in that type of environment. And so if you are married, spouse is second. If you have children, children are third. Then the next priority would be our work life, because we have to support our family, our spouse or children. That's very, very important. And a lot of times Christians will confuse work and church and put church as a higher priority. And as a pastor, I would love to put church as a higher priority. That would make me happy. However, in all honesty, I can't do that because work does come first. That's how we support our family and take care of their needs. Then after work or career, then is our church life. That's very important because that's where we do develop our relationship with God, but it's not our only way of developing the relationship with God. God is first, church is actually fifth, but church is a place where we do pursue that relationship and strengthen that relationship. It's also a place where we develop good friendships and connections and social relationships that help us, where we strengthen each other, we encourage each other, we help each other, we satisfy needs for friendship and fellowship, that type of thing, and we learn and we grow together. So church is very, very important, and the relationships in church are going to be stronger and more influential and generally better for us than a lot of the relationships in the world. But then last of all would be other friendships and other community relationships that we all enjoy and have, and that's perfectly healthy. And so really, if we sum it up, God is first, always, always, always. If you're married, spouse is second. If you have children, children are third. Then work or career, then church, and then other friendships and other relationships. And one of the reasons that this also is, that God set it up this way, is that there's a flow of grace. There's a flow of God's blessing and God's presence when we have these priorities lined up right. Our relationship with God always first fills our heart, and we overflow with love. And with that love, that's how we love our spouse, our husband, our wife, with that love that God gives us first. And so we bring that love into the relationship, we give that love unconditionally, and then the marriage fills up with love. That partnership fills up with love, and it overflows into the children, and the children are then in the flow of that grace or the flow of that love in their proper place. And then it flows down from there. Then we take care of our work life, and then we have a healthy church membership and a church activity, and then other relationships and friendships after that get the last slice of the pie, the smallest slice of the pie. And when we prioritize that way, there's just a flow from God of grace over our marriage, family, and life, where everything is blessed and in order. And this, I hope this principle helps you. It helped me a lot.